Good afternoon. Welcome to the 2017 Commencement Ceremony for the professional degrees of the Masters of Science in Occupational Therapy and the Clinical Doctorate, along with the recognition of the PhD program for Rehabilitation and Participation Sciences. We will start the procession around or about 1 o'clock, because I know it's a little humid out there, to coincide with the scheduled time to broadcast this event on YouTube. A link can be found on the ot.woostel.edu webpage. I'd like to thank the Graham Chapel and Media Services staff for making it possible for us to simulcast these ceremonies. A few housekeeping items. Restrooms are located downstairs. There are steps in the rear, and an elevator and steps are located here to my right. Each pew should hold around 11 people, so please provide space for others as available. There's also seating in the balcony. Please plan to take photos along the side of the wall to my right, which is the north side. At the end of the ceremonies, you can exit at either the rear or the side. Please remember to turn off ringers on cell phones and pagers, please. Thank you for your attention and enjoy the ceremonies. Shannon Eckhoff, who is wearing the wine-colored dress, will be sitting up here. We'll stand when it's time to rise for the procession for those who are able. Thank you very much.
Thank you. You may be seated. Hello. My name is Dr. Carolyn Baum. I have the extreme privilege of directing the program in occupational therapy here at Washington University. And I've had, in that role, the privilege to work with you, our talented students, the exceptional faculty, and the amazing staff that makes this program what it is today. Graduates, it's my very special honor to welcome you and your families and friends. You are the 99th graduating class of the program in occupational therapy at Washington University. As you all know, we celebrated the 100th anniversary of the profession this year. And 100 years ago, some very important leaders here at Washington University were joining with the community leaders to build a program that would serve society's needs as wounded veterans were returning from World War I and needed restoration. Two surgeons, Malvern Clopton and Evarts Graham, had a vision. That vision was to establish the Reconstructive Aid Program, which has evolved into the top occupational therapy academic program in the United States, and the program from which you graduate today. Today, we're celebrating the graduation of students from 4 degree programs: the PhD in Rehabilitation and Participation Science, the Doctor of Occupational Therapy, the Master of Science in Occupational Therapy, and for the first time, the Joint Master of Science in Occupational Therapy and Masters of Public Health degree. Graduates, you too will have a vision, and you will be leaders of the next century of our profession. I speak for the faculty and staff today when I say that we are proud of your accomplishments and appreciate the experience to have grown with you. I would like the faculty and staff to stand and recognize your accomplishments. Five students, as I mentioned, are graduating with a dual degree in occupational therapy and public health. Their training has prepared them to take their occupational therapy lens to the needs of society as they address population health issues. Vice versa, their public health lens will help them apply public health principles to those they serve in occupational therapy, particularly those who face the occupational disruption caused by chronic disease and disability. Will those who are receiving the public health degree please stand as your name is called? Amy Fierstad, Barrett Goodman, Cindy Mock, Megan Matthew, and Bailey Widner. We also are very happy to recognize two of our staff members who are graduating today with the Doctor of Occupational Therapy, Megan Doherty and Emily Somerville. Please stand and be recognized. We have three very special graduates with us today. I will ask them to stand as I call their names and greet the students in the audience. Gloria Levin, Barbara Trunbell, and Mary Lynn Hurdle. All three are of the graduates of 1967, and today they are celebrating their 50th anniversary of their graduation from the program in occupational therapy. Today marks the final graduation ceremony for one of our faculty. Dr. Jack Engsberg is retiring at the completion of this academic year. We would like to recognize him for his excellence in teaching and for his science, which has informed the management of children with cerebral palsy and more recently, his work using technology to actively engage patients in their own motor recovery. Dr. Engsberg, please stand and be recognized. Now, I would like to introduce to your parents and friends the Director of the Division of Professional Education in the Program in Occupational Therapy, Dr. Stephen Taff.
I heard a whistle out there. Where was it? Thank you, Dr. Baum. Whoa. Again, welcome and thank you all for being here for this very special day. I have the honor of announcing the recipients of this year's program scholarships and awards. First, I will announce the names of the 2 students who are serving as class marshals today, indicating they are ranked first in their respective classes. Please stand as I call your name. The class marshal of the Doctor of Occupational Therapy degree is Jaya Bhakta. The class marshal of the Master of Science in Occupational Therapy degree is Dawn Dickerson. Each year, the program awards the Excellence in Student Research Award to recognize a doctoral and a master's student whose work will enhance practice. Faculty nominate the students, and a panel of faculty rate their work. I'm happy to announce that this year, Sarah Olfers is recognized for her paper titled Facilitating Knowledge Translation, a cancer-related cognitive impairment seminar for occupational therapy practitioners. And Natalie Zorilla is recognized for her paper titled Action Plans and Their Associations with Self-Management Outcomes in Parkinson's Disease. Congratulations. Sarah and Natalie, please stand. The program also awards scholarships that recognize students for outstanding performance and leadership. The Agnes Fielding Proman Scholarship is awarded to students from the Occupational Therapy program who show exceptional promise as an OT educator or potential for leadership in the profession. These students must also have demonstrated a strong commitment to the values and knowledge of occupational therapy. Today, we have 3 outstanding students receiving this scholarship. Please stand as I call your name. Jaya Bhakta, Molly Seberg, and Sarah Olfers. The Pi Theta Epsilon Xi Chapter Fieldwork Scholarship was established by the class of 2000. This scholarship is funded by students with monies raised through fundraising efforts. Candidates are rated by criteria established by members of Pi Theta Epsilon, which is the honor society for occupational therapy students. There are 5 outstanding students receiving this award today. Again, please stand as I read your name. Brianna Beatty, Gabrielle Blenden, Rachel Harris, Lene Neski, and Elizabeth Wengraff. Congratulations. The Robert B. Somerville Memorial Scholarship is awarded to students in the program in occupational therapy at Washington University School of Medicine. This award is granted to male students who have contributed to the program through student leadership. They are honor students who maintain a cumulative GPA of 3.5 or higher within the program, show potential for leadership in the profession, and demonstrate a strong commitment to the values and knowledge of the profession of occupational therapy. Please stand as I read your name. Tim Pemberton. And Justin Rickman. The Fran Cohen Memorial Scholarship was established by Fran's family to honor her. Fran was a 1951 graduate of the Washington University program in occupational therapy. The family awards this scholarship to a graduating student who shows promise in community health and community service in occupational therapy. The student must have demonstrated creativity in applying OT knowledge to people with disabilities and the potential for leadership in the profession. Particularly important is that the student must have demonstrated a strong commitment to the values and knowledge of occupational therapy, which were certainly those of Fran Cohen. This year, we had 24 students who applied for this scholarship. 24. It's pretty amazing. This speaks to the service orientation of all of our students, as well as the growing presence of community-based initiatives to increase health and well-being. Each of these students demonstrated a passion for community work, for which Fran was well known. However, one student's involvement stood out as particularly powerful. Tim Pemberton, please stand and be recognized. My hearty congratulations to all of our scholarship and award recipients. Now I'd like to ask Caitlin Nellison to come forward to introduce this year's commencement speaker.
Thank you. It is with great honor that I get the opportunity and privilege to introduce our commencement speaker, the President and Chief Executive Officer of Paraquad, Amy Waymeyer. Amy earned her master's in business administration from William Woods University and a business management for nonprofit leaders certification from the Washington University Olin Business School. As the CEO of Paraquad, Amy has been a principal part of making Paraquad one of the best services provided to individuals with disabilities in the nation. Paraquad is one of the first centers for independent living in the country and serves 3,000 people with various types of disabilities. Amy's career with Paraquad started after working as the executive director at the Services for Independent Living in Columbia, Missouri. This year, Paraquad and Amy were presented with the Washington University Partner of the Year Award at this year's Scholarship Day. Amy is currently the president of the Missouri State Rehabilitation Council and was the recipient of the 2015 St. Louis Business Journal Diverse Business Leaders Award. Amy's passion for public policy, advocacy, and increasing opportunities for people with disabilities has been an inspiration to the ongoing development and improvement to disability services not only in the St. Louis area, but the nation. Please join me in welcoming Amy Waymeyer.
Thank you. Good afternoon. It is truly my honor and pleasure to be a part of the Washington University Program in Occupational Therapy Spring 2017 graduation. Thank you for the opportunity to share my story of independence and impart a few words of wisdom to each of you as you leave this campus and begin your journey to empower people worldwide to live full and productive lives. We have a similar purpose. The mission of Paraquad is to empower people with disabilities to increase their independence through choice and opportunity. The mission resonates with me because it's the story of my life. Growing up, I did not have occupational therapy. In fact, I had no idea what occupational therapy was. I had plenty of access to physical therapy, which I hated. I equated physical therapy with physical pain. I did learn to live independently, but occupational therapy might have made the journey a little smoother. I credit my independence and success to a few central themes. Number one, good friends and good people who cared for me, supported me, and pushed me. Number two, realistic expectations. Number three, learning through failure. Number four, education. Number 5, hard work. And number 6, choice in my quality care. I was born with muscular dystrophy. I've never walked, so disability is very natural to me. When people ask me what it's like to be in a wheelchair, I tell them I don't know what it's like not to be in a wheelchair. It's just something I've always done. I was born and raised in St. Charles County. As a child, I was expected to attend Michael's School, which was a segregated special school for people with disabilities in St. Louis. My parents became advocates early, and I was instead mainstreamed into kindergarten at Central School, less than a mile from my home. For reference, that was in 1976, 1 year after the passage of the IDEA, the Individuals with Disabilities Education Act. The purpose of the IDEA was to ensure that children with disabilities had the same access to education in the public schools. Thanks to my parents, I did. Growing up, there were 3 major dynamics that influenced the person I am today. Number 1, my parents had very high expectation. I wasn't coddled by any stretch of the imagination. I was expected to do the same chores as my sister and my brother, even if it took me 3 times longer. I folded all the laundry. I pushed a manual wheelchair until I was 12 years old, even though I could barely push the stupid thing. To this day, my mom says once I got a power wheelchair, I never stopped moving, and that's a fact. School was no different. I was expected to make good grades. I remember making 1 C in history and 1 C in geometry. My mom was not happy, and I remember both occasions vividly. She always said I better make good grades because I would never wait tables. She was a realist. It made it clear that all things are not equal, and sometimes you have to work harder to achieve the same results as someone else. While high expectations were not so fun in the moment, they served me well as an adult. Another dynamic that influenced the person I am today was a feeling of no control. My mom decided when I got up, when I went to bed, when I used the bathroom, when I washed my hair. I still had an 8:30 bedtime when I was in high school, and she made me wear stocking hats to school, which were not cool back then. In addition, we did not have an accessible vehicle, and there was a step into my front porch and into my house. I had no freedom to come and go as I wanted to. I always had to wait for someone else. Finally, fear was a major dynamic. When I was 12 years old, I stopped breathing. I was hospitalized for 5 weeks due to a collapsed lung. As I mentioned before, disability was very natural to me. I had no idea that it had the ability to take my life. Before being transferred by ambulance to from St. Joseph's Hospital to Children's Hospital in St. Louis, I asked the nurse if I was going to die. And she said, "Honey, I don't know." That was the worst statement a healthcare worker could ever make to a child who is scared. Everyone needs hope. Obviously, I recovered. But fear of dying is a looming cloud that has never completely gone away. The best part of my Class 1 lung was getting skinny enough and weak enough to finally qualify for a power wheelchair. That's funny. I left home at 18 to attend college at Mizzou and have lived independently ever since. College was the best of times and the worst of times. I finally found a place where I fit and I belonged. I grew up very embarrassed of my disability. Aside from MBA camp, which was very private, I never associated with other people with disabilities. None of my friends had disabilities, and that was very important to me. I didn't want to be one of them. Mizzou was different. I met so many cool people. I got a job at the Disability Services Office, and the director had the same disability as me. She was the first person I ever met who was healthy, happy, married. She earned her master's degree. She had a career. She had an accessible car. She had an accessible house. Many of my closest friends became people who had disabilities. I became an advocate for accessibility and joined a student organization called Barrier Free. I learned about disability culture, and my embarrassment evolved into disability pride. I believe the radical difference was the level of acceptance and inclusion of people with disabilities on campus and in Columbia. There were so many groups of people that everyone had a place. Now, to the worst of times. What do you get when you introduce a freshman who grew up with no freedom to a college like Mizzou? If you guessed a hot mess, you on the left deserve your degrees. I was a hot mess. I made up for all the missed parties, all the late nights, and I ended up dropping out of school. I found myself living in subsidized housing for people with disabilities and receiving a monthly disability check. I tried to get a job outside of college, but no one would hire me. It didn't take long to realize my mom was right. I'd better get a good education because literally no one would hire me. So back to school I went, and I received a BES in Educational and Counseling Psychology with an emphasis in rehabilitation counseling. My old boss, Karma, hired me back, and my student job involved in a full-time position with benefits. I made a good friend whose father worked for State Farm Insurance. His father and I had a common passion for Texas Hold'em. So we bonded through trips to Boonville, casino, and his father helped me get a job at State Farm Insurance, where I worked for nearly 10 years. When I started at State Farm, I was the only person that I could see with a disability. I had the opportunity to be involved in State Farm's national diversity initiatives, and I helped expand the conversation from race and gender to include disability. During my time at State Farm, I had many mentors and champions interested in my success, which led to many leadership opportunities. While working, I went back to school and earned a master's degree in business administration. I also became very involved in the community and served on the board of directors for the local Independent Living Center, where I eventually became executive director. State Farm was a wonderful opportunity because it allowed me to prove to myself that it could be successful in a highly competitive work environment. I also developed the skills and the credentials necessary to become competitive for an executive level position. Once I had the skills and the confidence, I finally got the courage to follow my passion for impacting the lives of people with disabilities. It's probably no surprise that I fell in love with independent living philosophy and the emphasis on self-determination. I lived, went to school, and worked in Columbia for 24 years. I had a good job, a master's degree, an accessible house, an accessible vehicle, and I was in a long-term relationship. I was healthy, and I was happy. Sound familiar? I had the life I had only learned existed when I moved to Columbia. During the summer of 2005, I received the first phone call regarding an executive director position at Paraquad. It was a long process of discernment before I quit my job, put my house on the market, packed my bags, left my man, and headed to St. Louis to join one of the oldest and most influential centers for independent living in the country. I have now been at Paraquad for 4 years. I live 2 miles away from my sister. I met and married the love of my life, and I have 2 amazing sons, 4 dogs, and 2 cats. Sorry. Guess what? In my path to education, employment, and family, I gave up a few things. When you work 40+ hours per week and you spend quality time with the people you love, you don't have 3 hours to cook and do dishes. You choose to pay an attendant to fold laundry so you have time to watch a movie with your kids. So I'm not nearly as strong as I used to be, but my quality of life hasn't suffered. I guess the question becomes, how does this story relate to today's celebration? It relates because it is a story about independence, quality of life, and all the possibilities out there for people with disabilities. My story is like the hundreds or even thousands of stories that each of you will play a part in as you leave Washington University. My story also relates because the program in occupational therapy has been integral to my work at Paraquat. First of all, the brilliant Dr. Carrie Morgan serves as president on the board of directors. She represents a rich history of partnerships with Washington University that include champions like Dr. Carolyn Baum and the late Dr. Gray. This past January, we opened a beautiful, accessible health and wellness center that would not be possible without the support of Washington University. And I'm not talking about just the physical space, but all the OT students and staff who are at the gym every day and use their skills and expertise to increase strength and endurance for the people we serve with all types of disabilities. We also partner and benefit from research that leads to new ways to increase quality of life, community participation for people with disabilities. I referenced in the beginning that good care was also one of the contributors to my success. I have been hiring my own personal care attendants and managing my own care since I was 18. When I talked about my childhood and the feeling of no control, I left out a portion that included my best friend, Soraya. Soraya lived down the street, and her father was very protective. As a result, Soraya didn't have very much freedom either, so we were a perfect match. She took care of me on the weekends. She lifted me into her truck, carried me up and down the stairs at her house, shaved my legs, and gave me rock star hair. She was my roommate in college and is partially responsible for my demise, and I for hers. She went on to be a nurse in a rehab hospital, was in my wedding last May. She would have been a fantastic occupational therapist. Again, how does that relate? I cannot end this speech without acknowledging 3 graduating OT students in the audience who contributed to one of the hardest and best years of my life. 2 of them were at my wedding and were very integral in the process. I do not know if they understand how important they are to me and how much they personally contribute to my success. From the 4 a.m. morning shifts so I can advocate in Jefferson City, to the fancy dresses and the tight pantyhose that they squeezed me into so I could represent Paraquat at community events. I would like to say thank you to Emily Schutte, Katie Kaufman, and Michelle Scally. And I can't leave out Emily Wilson, even though she's not graduating today, but she helped me put on this challenging regalia this morning. Just for the record, they were 3 of the most responsible and reliable attendants I've ever had. They sometimes tease me for having favorites because I put up with some crazy stuff from other attendants. I remember Katie saying, "You'd fire me if I did that." And the reality is, I probably would have. But because she set the bar so high. One of the best parts about my WashU OT students was their understanding and commitment to self-directed care. They let me be the crazy control freak that I am, and I'm very grateful. Okay, I'm running out of time, so I can't leave the stage without imparting a few words of wisdom. So I'm going to give you the top 10 tips for Washington University graduating OT students. So number 10, get to know your patients outside of their diagnosis. Number 9, the same disability and treatment differs from person to person. Number 8, people with disabilities are the best experts on their own needs. Number 7, the best treatments may not be the preferred choice. Number 6, help your patients find hope, and words do matter. Number 5, be an advocate. People with disabilities need you more than ever. Number 4, talk to your patients about sex. Everybody has desires. Number 3, keep current on technology and advances in medicine. Your patients need your expertise. Number 2, take care of yourself so that you have the energy to care for others. And number 1, don't take yourself too seriously. Have fun and start helping people create chapters of increased independence in their lives. Okay, as you learned from my story, also remember the path to independence is a journey and it's not a race. So I want to thank all of the leadership, the faculty, the staff of the program in occupational therapy for helping to create our future leading therapists, scientists, and educators. Congratulations to the class of 2017. May your winding paths be filled with many blessings. Thank you.
Awesome, Amy.
Thank you so much, Amy. Now I'd like to invite Rebecca Bollinger to come forward to introduce our faculty speaker.
It is my pleasure to introduce our faculty speaker, Dr. Carrie Morgan. Dr. Morgan earned her master's degree in occupational therapy and her PhD in movement science from Washington University. She is currently an assistant professor of occupational therapy and neurology and is an avid athlete. She is the first woman to compete on the U.S. Paralympic rugby team. She has also participated in the Paralympics in Beijing, London, and Rio, and to date has received 3 bronze medals and 1 silver medal. Dr. Morgan's passion for physical activity and assistive technology extends beyond the track and into the classroom through her personal experiences and determination to help her students learn to the best of their ability. She also generates evidence to improve their performance and participation of individuals with mobility impairments in all occupations and is very involved in the community. She serves on organizational and state boards for Paraquad Independent Living Center and the City of St. Louis. As you can see, Dr. Morgan's commitment to the field of occupational therapy and desire to improve the lives of individuals with disabilities is one of the many reasons why we selected her as our faculty speaker. We feel very fortunate to have had the opportunity and privilege to learn from her and share her passion for helping others. Please join me in welcoming Dr. Carrie Morgan.
Becky, thank you for that introduction. I was giving Amy a hard time that I have to follow that. And she also makes me look really short, too. So I'm going to kind of cheat and come a little closer to you so you can see me. Greetings, MSOT, OTD, and PhD 2017 graduates. I am truly honored to represent the faculty today. As most of you know, I'm an occupational therapist and a researcher by day. And in the off time, my off hours, I'm an avid wheelchair racer. This past year, I competed in the Rio Paralympic Games, and I appreciated all the wishes and support that you all provided to me. Today, we're celebrating a race of your own. I'm going to call it your OT education race, which, unlike my short sprint events, has been more like a marathon. Your race began with acceptance to the program, learning assessments, dissecting cadavers, completing your coursework, and conducting scholarly work, and today, the finish line, graduation. After my races, I find it important to stop and reflect before my next race. When I reflect back on my races, there's one that stands out the most. It's not the one where I finally beat my rival from Canada and saw her cry. It wasn't that. Although that rate's high. It was my 100-meter race in the 2012 Paralympic Games in London. The day of the race, I woke up with a fever and I wasn't feeling so well. Not exactly the ideal situation when you're trying to go as fast as you possibly can. I was trying to get amped up before the race, knowing that I was going to have to come off the start line with everything that I had. And unfortunately, I was so hyped up that when the gun finally went off, unfortunately, I pushed harder on one wheel than the other, and I came off the line crooked, which in a 100-meter race is kind of the kiss of death. You don't really have a whole lot of time to make up for that. At one point, I remember being last, which is something that I hadn't been used to in a long time. That was about the 30-meter mark of my race, had about 70 meters to go. And to me, this race was really in slow motion. I remember clearly having a serious conversation with myself that went a little something like this. Hey, Carrie, you're in last place right now. You're not usually there, and what are you doing? And is this what you worked so hard for? And is this how you want to remember this race? Is this how you want to finish? Well, if not, you better hurry up and do something because you're kind of running out of time. From that point on, all I remember is moving my arms faster than I've probably ever moved them in my entire life. If you will, I watched the video back, and you can see I'm in the middle lane, and it's a side video, so it's hard to see. You can't see me, but you can just see these crazy arms flying up in the air. That race was a combination of probably the worst first 50 meters in a race that I had pushed in a really long time, plus the best last 50 meters that I've pushed to date. That ended up with being a bronze medal. That experience meant more than that medal to me. It meant that I did not give up. I checked myself. I had every opportunity there to say, hey, this is not my day. It's just not going to happen this day. And I didn't do that. I stayed mentally inside myself. Things did not go as planned, but I was able to perform even though things were not perfect. I was not 100% that day, but I gave 100% of what I had. Each of you are about to start a new race, a field work, an apprenticeship, a first OT job. I'm telling you, things might not always go your way. You might get a really tough CI. You might get a challenging client. You might get a really demanding research job. I challenge each of you in these moments to give 100% of what you have. Give the best of what you have in every situation, even when it's not a perfect situation. When you do this, these are the situations that will help you learn, grow, and do and be better. Now, embarking on a journey or a race takes people in support. Track is what people refer to as an individual sport, not a team. However, I have an entire team of support that helps make it possible for me to pursue my goals. My family and friends who support me, my coach who challenges me, my colleagues and my boss who, thank goodness, value the competitor in me and support my efforts. But it's the little things that really mean the most. For example, my mom, way before I started winning medals, would tell me how proud she was that I pursue my goals. I don't remember exactly when, but somehow this turned into her signing all of her cards and notes to me. She still does it. Love, proud mom. She, even to this day, she leaves me a message. She did it last night on my phone. She called me and said, hey, Carrie, call me back when you get a chance. This is your proud mom. I know who it is, Mom, but you got it. So it's things like that, the little things, that keep me going. I want you to think about the things that keep you going. In a few minutes, you're going to stand up on this stage. When you're up here, remember the team, the support that has helped you to reach your finish line. Make sure to acknowledge these supports as they are an important part of being successful in reaching your goals. One final tool that has helped me to reach my racing goals is my race chair. And give me a second. I just happened to bring it today. Because what kind of assistive technology teacher would I be if I didn't come with a piece of assistive technology? Let's see if I can get it to not roll away on me. For those of you who cannot see this, this is a wheelchair made for racing on a road or track. It's essentially my running shoes. So if I'm going to go for a run, I slide into my race chair. What you probably see is a chair that has 3 wheels, is really long, very, very aerodynamic. What I see when I look at my race chair is a symbol of freedom and independence. It has helped me to reach speeds I could not otherwise reach. It has helped brought me places physically, mentally, and geographically that I thought I would never go. I brought my race chair today as a symbol of the impact that OTs can have on people's lives. For me, racing, competing, that was the key meaningful life activity that, when discovered, opened up a whole new world to me and impacted my life in greater ways than I had ever imagined. You are about to join one of the greatest professions that exists. I might be a little biased, but I believe it. We, as occupational therapists, unlike any other profession, have a unique opportunity to change people's lives. I challenge each of you to spend the time and the effort when assessing your clients, implementing interventions, or conducting research to make sure the focus truly is on engaging people in their lives, in their occupations, encouraging participation in the major life activities that they deem important. Everyone you're going to work with is going to have a race chair. That is, something that helps them achieve a goal they never thought possible. They just might not know what that is. It is your opportunity as occupational therapists to find it. The mission of the faculty for your journey here has been to arm you with the knowledge, skills, and tools to be successful. It is now in your hands. It's now up to you to use this knowledge, skills, and tools, impact lives, and do great things. On behalf of the faculty, I would like to congratulate you for making it to the finish line. I hope you take time and reflect on the race that you've just completed. Personally, after a race, I do that over beer, pizza, and ice cream, but that's because those are the things I can't have while I'm training, but I'm sure you'll find what works for you. I look forward to having each one of you as a colleague in the field of occupational therapy. I wish each of you luck in your future endeavors. Thank you for having me represent the faculty today.
Thank you, Dr. Morgan. The students have selected their classmates to speak to you today, and I have the distinct pleasure of introducing them to you now. First, I am happy to introduce Matthew Foreman, who was chosen to speak by his classmates for the Rehabilitation and Participation Science PhD class. Matt is a rehabilitation and participation scientist, an all-around good egg, who started his journey as a mechanical engineer. He found his interest in applying technology and building interventions to help people recover from neurological injuries. Through his work with Dr. Jack Ingsberg, he has made a major contribution to our understanding of how to approach motor recovery in individuals following stroke. In addition to this work, he has contributed to the education of our professional students for the past 5 years, teaching statistics in the evidence-based practice class. Matt was one of the first students accepted to our PhD program, and we are so proud to see his success and to recognize his accomplishments today. Come on up, Matt.
Good afternoon. Thank you, everyone, for being here. First, I'll introduce myself. My name is Matt Foreman. I'm part of the first class of the Rehabilitation and Participation Science PhD here. More importantly, you guys probably know me as that bearded guy that taught statistics. I'd like to be short and sweet today and share some wisdom with you that I've learned in this program. And I'd also like to say that thank you, Anna, for choosing me as your student speaker. Everything up until now has been putting tools in your toolbox, right? As Carrie said, this feels like a finish line, but it's not. You're going to enter the workforce now, and you're going to continue with your tools. And so I'd like to share 3 things to challenge you as you move forward in your careers. First, I'd like to challenge you to collaborate with people outside of your profession. I'm a mechanical engineer by trade. I'm not an OT, but as you probably have learned through your careers here, or through your educations here, wonderful solutions can come out of working with people outside of your profession. I challenge you to work with people like engineers. I challenge you to work with people like neuroscientists to improve your quality of care and continue improving the state of occupational therapy. Second, I'd like you to remember your roots. Each and every one of you got into this program for a unique reason. However, a common thread is that you all got into this profession to help people. Remember your roots. Remember why you decided to do this as a career. If I've learned anything about the way that clinical occupational therapy works, it's becoming quite the business. So don't think about improving the profit margin or whatever the business has you doing. Think about your patient. Think about improving the quality of care for your patient. And third, I'd like to challenge you to continue to be rehabilitation scientists in your careers. Evidence-based practice is what I taught, and you guys learned how to read the best evidence in occupational therapy and use that evidence for clinical care. And that's the only way that occupational therapy is going to continue to get better, is if you treat it as a science and not just as a career. And so those are my three tenets of advice. I'd like to end by thanking Dr. Jack Engsberg, who got me into this program as an engineer and working in his lab, and he's retiring, as everyone has said. So I'd like to give Jack a round of applause. I'd also like to thank all the faculty members that helped me learn a crash course in occupational therapy through this. I'd like to thank the OTD and MSOT students for teaching me as much as I was able to teach you. And finally, I'd like to thank my family and friends, especially my significant other, Courtney, who put up with me being a PhD student and making no money for several years. So with that, thank you very much, and congratulations, graduates.
Thanks, Matt. It is now my privilege to once again bring before you Rebecca Bollinger, who was chosen this year as the class speaker for the OTD class. Becky was a student of Dr. Susie Stark in the Participation, Environment, and Performance Laboratory. Becky has contributed valuable insights as a student, in her research lab, in the classroom as a TA, and as a citizen of our university. Becky came to our program with rich research knowledge and skills. She has taken her experience in research training and has applied it to her new skill set as an occupational therapist. She has contributed significantly to the learning of others. She is kind, approachable, and eternally optimistic. She is reliable and does not shy away from hard work. Becky genuinely wants to make the world a better place for whomever she meets, peers, faculty, clients, caregivers. Everyone who has had an interaction with Becky leaves it significantly more enriched. We look forward to seeing her unique contributions to the profession as she goes forward in her career. Becky, please come up forward.
Thank you, Dr. Taff. I am honored to be here standing before you all today. When I was deciding what to share with you, I spent a lot of time reflecting on my own experiences and decisions, which led me to pursue a doctoral degree in occupational therapy here at Washington University. I kept thinking about my late brother's favorite quote from Walt Disney, which states, "Happiness is a state of mind. It's just according to the way you look at things." For me, like many of my classmates, happiness meant pursuing a lifelong passion for helping others. However, it took me a few years of working and observing my mother as a caregiver for my grandmother to discover the power of occupational therapy. With encouragement from my parents, I decided to pursue a career in occupational therapy and only applied to Washington University. I still remember opening the small envelope from admissions with trembling hands and feeling tears of utter joy and disbelief fall down my cheeks. Little did I know how much my entire world and my understanding of happiness was about to change. Like all of my fellow classmates, we have experienced a wide variety of emotions throughout our lives, from loss and sorrow to joy and elation. However, those experiences do not define us. It is how we respond and move forward after those experiences that makes us who we are. As future occupational therapists, we look at the world differently. We have the unique ability to see beyond the barriers that prevent our clients from engaging in occupations. We see their strengths and do everything we can to advocate, problem solve, collaborate, and educate in order to break down those barriers piece by piece to help our clients live their lives to the fullest and achieve happiness. This subsequently fulfills our own desire to help others and contributes to our own happiness and overall well-being. Looking at all of you, I also experience a feeling of happiness associated with my time here at Washington University. I see the incredible faculty and staff who have shared their knowledge and provided guidance and support over the last 3 years. I also see grandparents, parents, siblings, and other family members and friends that have provided each and every one of us with unconditional love and support to help us on our journey to becoming occupational therapists. And lastly, I see my fellow graduates, for whom I am eternally grateful. You are some of the most caring, compassionate, creative, and intelligent individuals that I have ever met. You've continuously challenged, supported, and inspired me, and have made me a better person, and for that, I can never thank you enough. I urge you to take a look around and cherish this moment as you prepare to begin your careers as occupational therapists. I hope you continue to pursue your passions and find your happiness while helping others find theirs as well. Congratulations, I truly couldn't be prouder of you. Thank you.
Thank you, Becky. Finally, I'm happy to bring back to the podium Caitlin Nellison, who has chosen to speak for the Master of Science in Occupational Therapy class. Katie was a student of Dr. Alex Guang in the Health and Disability Research Lab. Her work was to identify factors contributing to work sustainability challenges for people with disabilities. She also worked in our student-run stroke clinic, which provides free occupational services to individuals who are uninsured or underinsured. Katie assumed many, many roles, working with individuals and their families, serving as a caregiver, a companion, and an aide. Her future aspirations include working with individuals with neurological difficulties to provide services that enable these individuals to live the lives that they best possibly can and to be the best versions of themselves. Katie, would you please come to the podium?
Thank you, Dr. Taff. Several weeks ago, I found out that I would have the honor and privilege to speak to you all here today. Since that moment, I've spent many hours brainstorming how I can summarize our journey together over the past few years. I wondered if I could just scrap the textbook inspirational speech and go with something more fitting, like a spirited rendition of I Will Survive or Work by Rihanna. But I'll wait to do that at the next karaoke night and save myself from that embarrassment. Also, if my family has anything to do with it, this speech will be on Facebook within 2 minutes after I walk off the stage. But where do I begin? I started with a Google search, of course, on how to write an inspirational speech. I'm sure you can all imagine the search results. Quote a credible source, tell a story, motivate people to take action, and the list goes on. I scrolled through lists of inspirational quotes probably found on every Hallmark card, but it wasn't until I stumbled upon a quote from the COO of Facebook, co-founder of Lean In, and renowned author and activist Sheryl Sandberg did it click. She and a co-author once said, "We're not born with a fixed amount of resilience. It's a muscle, and that means we can build it." This quote resonated with me on both a personal and professional level, more so than I could have ever imagined it would on this day. No matter what age we are, there is a point in life where we all feel like we've been dealt a poor hand of cards. With the recent passing of my mom, that has been the biggest test of my resilience. It hasn't been easy, but I found a way to wake up every morning, go to class, appreciate the life I've been given with the people in it, and take my day head on. But enduring any tough situation has the power to teach you very valuable life lessons. The greatest life lesson that I've learned is that life isn't fair. It's not going to be perfect, and it doesn't have to be. Because guess what? It doesn't mean it can't be great. Without life's challenges or obstacles, how else would we grow? How do we find the best versions of ourselves if we haven't yet faced the worst? What we have to do when we were tested and when we just want to look up and say, this isn't fair, is remember that the best things in life aren't given without a challenge. They aren't given unless you try and you put yourself out there. They're not meant to be easy. You don't have to be dealt a good hand of cards. You just have to learn how to play with the ones you have and have fun while doing it. Look at all that we've accomplished since starting this program. We've developed the skills we need to be able to help people from all walks of life. We have learned the importance of collaborating with not only our clients, but their families too. We've learned to use language that makes our clients feel empowered and a part of the team. None of this is what I would consider easy. We're now ready to take what we have learned and apply it into the working world, and we did this all here at the Washington University in St. Louis, the #1 occupational therapy program in the nation. Now that sounds like an accomplishment to me. With our fieldworks approaching and the inevitable truth of unavoidable adulthood, I can speak for myself and say that I'm feeling a little bit nervous. In times where I lacked confidence in myself, my mom would always say to me, breathe, you can do it. So, to the graduating class of 2017, I want to leave you with this. Breathe, because I know that we can all do it. Thank you.
Thank you, Katie. Now, for the moment I think you've all been waiting for, perhaps. We will now recognize those who have completed the academic requirements for the degrees: Doctor of Rehabilitation and Participation Science, Doctor of Occupational Therapy, and the Master of Science in Occupational Therapy. The students' names will be read by our academic fieldwork coordinator, Janine Dallas. Their advisors will hood the doctoral students. Dr. Jessica Dashner will hood the MSOT students, and Dr. Stacy Smallfield will help congratulate our doctoral graduates. Janine, you're up.
Shoot Carrie's car over. We're fixing the stage real quick. All right. We just want to keep you here a few more minutes. We were going to make everybody get into the chair and wheel off the stage, but Carrie wouldn't let us do that. Thanks, Carrie. All right, we ready for the PhD candidates? First up, Dr. Jack Ginsberg will be hooding Anna Boone. Our next new PhD is Matthew Foreman. Okay, OTD candidates, you guys ready? I think so. Starting with Dr. Carolyn Baum's student, Samuel Joseph Talisman. Next is Dr. Christine Berg students. Lauren Nicole Berman. Next, Jaya Champak Bukta. Megan Eileen Doherty. Sarah Strever Olfers. We need a height requirement. Dr. Anne Marie Dale, Woolhood Christopher Michael Inc. Next is Dr. Jack Ingsberg, back up, with Corinne Louise Martin. I think by now he could get it right. I know. Gloria Machuma Sipakati. We think you have family here. Michelle Nicole Voss. Next up, Erin Foster. She'll be hooding Emily Susan Bumpus. Kristen Marie Dumas. And Allison Kara Kwawasser. Next, hooding for Dr. Allison King will be Dr. Regina Abel. She'll be hooding Kylie Jo Fisher. Rebecca Louise Key. Next up, Dr. Bobby Pineda, hooding Rachel Kimberly Harris. Justin Charles Rickman. Next is Dr. Tim Shortliff, hooding Meredith Lee Allen. Next is Dr. Stacy Smallfield. She'll be hooding Brianna Caitlin Beatty. Dr. Susan Stark. Yes, she's over there. Hooding Rebecca Marie Bollinger. And Emily Kling Somerville. Dr. Steve Taff is hooding Melissa Rose Brotman. All right, way to go. And Dr. Alex Wong, hooding Lena Wexler Mankis. And Koob Ming Mua. Okay, congratulations to the PhD and OTD 2017. Okay, master's students, you guys ready? I don't see anybody up. Come on. Here we go. Got to get these guys in line here. Okay, are you ready? Now they're ready. First up, Kelly Elizabeth Baker. This should be fun. We have some tall ones. Haley Joyce Barlow. Jennifer Marie Barrett. Kyle Kent Bateman. All right. Andrea Lynn Connolly. Maria Elizabeth Coronelli. Dawn Nicole Dickerson. Alyssa Michelle Drevenach. Michelle Elizabeth Egan. Jill Marie Evans. Amy Louise Fierstad. Megan Ann Flanagan. Alexander Ruville Giordano. Claire Amelia Gerard. Kristen Elizabeth Grayman. Monica Lee Grover. Caroline Ann Hathaway. Shelby Nicole Hatz. Mary Elizabeth Halawatuk. Alexandra Nicole Jenkins. Mackenzie Ellen Johnson. Ashley Paula Jones. Nope. Sorry about that. Graham Gravy Jones. Kristen Noel Young. Catherine Therese Cadella. Michelle Bashe Kaplan. Elizabeth Joanna Kachinsik. I've said her name wrong for 2 years. I needed to get it right once. Caitlin Joan Kaufman. Stephanie Marie Kerr. Linda Wan-Hee Lee. Cindy Trang Mock. Sorry, Cindy. Trang. Grace Regina Makowiak. Sin Yi Mack. Hannah Eileen Manis. Megan Grace Matthew. Alan Samuel Minyard. Madison Claire Morris. Rachel Cecilia Nation. Brittany Jean Neely. Caitlin Michelle Nellison. Lene Don Neski. Lindsay Elizabeth Patterson. Emily Nicole Patton. Timothy Wayne Pemberton. Sarah Athena Miriam Penaflor. Dominic Alfonso Prospero. Anne Marie Pudva. Sonia Janae Randall. Bruce Allen Rao. Alexis Brianna Raybon. Michelle Marie Scally. Emily Sarah Schutte. Molly Susan Seberg. Lisa Louise Shabaski. I like these names. Christian Elizabeth Shoemate. Dion Luchelle Ciavora. Nailed it. Suzanne Carmel Skaggs. Caitlin Renee Spearman. Kristen Ashley Svedik. Emily Jean Swanson. Kelsey Ann Tameline. Elizabeth Danielle Wingraff. Bailey Renee Widener. Carrie Joe Williams. Chevy Marie Wiseman. Joseph Robert Wymore. And Natalie Helene Zarilla. And congrats to the master's students of 2017.
Well, the world is ready for so many talented people. Will all of those receiving degrees stand and be recognized? So much human power. Okay, thank you. Just as when the profession started, our society has needs. Many people's occupational performance is challenged by chronic disease, disability, poverty, violence, and aging. You have chosen a profession where you have a major role to be of service to society, to individuals, to families, and to communities. You really do have a unique lens. You identify people's capabilities, the occupations that are important to them and what they want to do, and the barriers they face that must be overcome. You are trained to address the occupational performance issues of people and to work across the lifespan and across the continuum of care to enable people to do the ordinary things that are central to their daily lives. As you enter the profession at the dawn of the second century of the profession, you will have work. I know you and your parents are happy to hear this. You will have many opportunities to have jobs and to lead. As you graduate today, society is facing the largest population of older adults in history, and we know that they will want to remain independent as they age. There are more and more children who started their lives with special needs who need transition to adult and independent roles. There are many workers who've been injured and even more workers who want to stay active and productive as society changes and workers age. Actually, there are more than 50 million people with disabilities and millions more with persistent mental illness, all who want quality in their lives and the opportunity to participate in their families, their communities, and society. You have the knowledge and skills to make a difference in their lives, both in healthcare and community programming. As you know, the faculty and I share with you the responsibility to use our knowledge of occupation and how it influences health to build the future. As I look out at you today, I see the strength of your commitment to your profession and to those you will serve. I see leaders in pediatrics. So many of you are interested in the issues of children and families. Many of you will work to improve services for children and youth who start their lives in intensive care units or by social circumstances live with the challenges of health disparities. Others will make a difference with children, families, and educators coping with the issues of developmental disabilities, autism, obesity, cancer, and sickle cell disease. I know that issues of children with chronic health conditions are going to have new approaches to care and development because of your focus to help the child and the family make transitions to independence and participation. I also see clinicians who will build new systems of care for our nation's elderly. You will help them age in place, be safe in their homes and communities, and plan for driving retirement, and help them modify their environments to accommodate their changing sensory, cognitive, and motor systems, all with the goal to keep them socially engaged with families and communities. You're going to challenge existing models of care. You're going to build both new institutional and community services for those with chronic health conditions and or mental or physical problems. Others will help people recover from neurological injuries and trauma. Some will be leaders in helping those with cancer live meaningful and productive lives as they navigate the issues of survivorship. You have all become challenged by the issues of managing health issues. Your leadership in building self-management programs will become vital to ensure people have the knowledge and skills to manage their health problems and remove the barriers that limit their potential. Some among you have turned the love of animals into therapeutic approaches. Others have built on their technology skills to develop innovative interventions, and one has raised all of our awareness of the occupational issues faced by female prisoners who have often grown up in abusive situations and now face the future with limited skills. All of you are going to help families and communities learn to manage those with occupational challenges. And some of you will be at the forefront of using assistive technology to enhance their daily life and helping people see the power of action and activity in adapting to their life circumstances. I see practitioners who will improve people's lives, scientists who will contribute knowledge to the field, and educators who will facilitate leadership and teach the next generation of clinicians. All of you are going to bring new levels of understanding to the importance of occupation as it supports health and we know that you will bring evidence and client-centeredness to your work. You are the future leaders of the profession. I hope 50 years from now, you can look back at the pleasure and successes you have made in making contributions to your families, your profession, and your communities, and you will join the class of 2067 as they celebrate their 50th graduation anniversary. We are very proud to have been part of your growth. We are proud to call you our colleagues. Please keep in touch, and congratulations to each and every one of you.